Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're exploring a psychological phenomenon that catches so many of us completely off guard. Have you ever worked for years toward a promotion, a relationship milestone, or a huge financial goal, and when you finally cross that finish line, there's just no joy? There's just this weird, eerie silence. You feel a detached, profound emptiness. There's no dramatic crisis or tragic event you can point your finger at. Instead, it's just this unsettling stillness that has been quietly building inside you for months, maybe even longer.
Okay, let's look at Section 1, the eerie calm and the withdrawal of meaning.
So let's dive into this bizarre phase. You literally wake up one morning and the life you spent years carefully building, it suddenly feels like it belongs to somebody else entirely. The goals you chased so relentlessly suddenly seem totally hollow. It's incredibly disorienting, and honestly, it can be terrifying. You look around at your stable, successful life, and you just feel disconnected from the whole thing. Naturally, your first instinct is probably to think, oh no, I'm falling into a depression or I'm having a breakdown, because everything you relied on just stopped working all at once. But the legendary psychiatrist Carl Jung, who spent his whole life studying human transformation, saw this completely differently. He noticed that the psyche doesn't change gradually. Actually, it accumulates tension in absolute silence. So what you're experiencing isn't a malfunction at all. It's your psyche silently, radically reorganizing itself right beneath the surface.
Let's pause and really reflect on this for a second. Have you recently achieved a major goal, only to feel nothing but this eerie, detached emptiness? If you're stuck in that hollow feeling right now, I need you to lean in and understand what your unconscious mind is actually preparing you for. See, it's pulling energy away from your old life because it desperately needs those resources for a massive internal shift.
Moving right along to Section 2, the psychological earthquake and the fault line. Jung actually compared this hidden psychological process to tectonic plates shifting way deep beneath the earth. For years, everything looks totally normal on the surface, right? But immense pressure is building up along invisible fault lines. Every single time you silenced a natural instinct to keep the peace, or performed a fake version of yourself just to keep other people comfortable, a microscopic crack formed in your foundation. And now, that pressure has finally hit its absolute limit. This brings us to a really fascinating concept of Jung's called enantiodromia. It perfectly explains what happens when that hidden pressure maxes out. Enantiodromia is basically the law that when anything in the psyche reaches its extreme, it violently swings into its exact opposite, like a rubber band snapping back. If you've been a relentless people-pleaser for years, you'll suddenly feel this overwhelming urge to be fiercely independent. If you've been rigidly disciplined, you might suddenly just crave total chaos. Your psyche is demanding balance, and it will trigger an earthquake to get it.
Which brings us to Section 3, 3 signs of eruption.
So, how can you tell if you're just having a rough week or if you're standing on the edge of a literal psychological earthquake? Well, your unconscious mind will send you 3 very specific, undeniable warning signs. First up is a profound loss of meaning. The things in your life don't physically vanish. The meaning just entirely drains out of them. Second, your dreams will intensely escalate. We're talking vivid dreams about massive bodies of water, getting lost in unfamiliar houses, or even peaceful deaths. That's your unconscious shouting that a massive internal restructuring is happening. And third, you're going to experience an absolute collapse of tolerance. Out of nowhere, you'll find you literally cannot stomach the draining friends, toxic family dynamics, or suffocating job that you've just passively put up with for years.
Now, here's where things get dangerous. Section 4, 2 catastrophic mistakes.
Recognizing those signs is absolutely crucial because people usually panic when they feel this unfamiliar pressure building up. The eerie calm is just too loud, And in a desperate scramble to relieve the tension, we tend to make one of 2 catastrophic mistakes. On one side, you might try gripping the old life. You basically white-knuckle your dying life, desperately trying to force the meaning to return by doubling down on habits that clearly aren't working anymore. Or, on the flip side, you might impulsively blow the whole thing up. You might discharge all that profound internal energy through messy external drama, like quitting your job in a blind rage, sending a scorching text to end a relationship, or just packing up and moving across the country on a whim.
But here's the harsh truth about blowing things up. Running away doesn't actually change you. If you just flee across the country, you're acting out the transformation rather than actually doing the hard work of going through it. You're popping the pressure valve way too early. And since the internal restructuring never truly happened, within a year or so, you're subconsciously just going to rebuild the exact same psychological prison for yourself, just in a brand new city with brand new people. So what do we do instead? That's Section 5, holding the tension and conscious suffering.
The key here is embracing Jung's actual solution. It's not resisting, and it's definitely not impulsive chaos. It's what he called conscious suffering. Now don't worry, this doesn't mean punishing yourself. It simply means having the incredible courage to willingly stay present in the deep discomfort of that void. Jung's advice is simple but literally one of the hardest things to do. Hold the tension of opposites. You have to sit in the empty space between your old self and your new self. The old you is fading, but the new you hasn't quite arrived yet. You're suspended in the middle, and it feels like you're nothing. You have to sit right there in that tension without demanding that the process speed up to kill your anxiety or slow down to soothe your fear.
Because this uncomfortable, empty space, that is exactly where the real work happens. Your job isn't to direct the change or force some grand outcome. Your only job is to remain completely, radically present in the disorientation. Stay conscious. You have to witness what is dying in your life without desperately clinging to it, and you have to sit in the silence without numbing yourself with distractions, drama, or fake, forced positivity.
I want you to really look inward for a moment. Take a deep breath and be completely honest with yourself. What is the one thing in your life that has just completely lost its spark? What is your psyche begging you to let die, but you are still absolutely terrified to let go of? It could be an identity you've outgrown, a stale relationship, or a dead-end career path. Admitting what needs to go is the very first and undeniably the most important step toward getting your lost energy back.
And this leads us to the ultimate payoff in Section 6, the true personality and psychological sovereignty. If you can just survive this eerie calm, if you can hold that tension without hitting the panic button or running away, what emerges on the other side is incredible. It's not just a slightly tweaked version of the old you, it's the actual birth of your true personality. You achieve what's known as psychological sovereignty. This is a real game changer. It's the profound ability to connect with people, to love, and to just exist in the world without ever again having to contort yourself to earn somebody's permission. You reach a point where you never have to perform a fake, watered-down version of yourself just to feel safe. You finally become entirely, unshakably you.
To wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this final thought. The eerie calm before the breakthrough feels absolutely terrifying. In the moment, it feels exactly like destruction, but I promise you, in retrospect, it will look exactly like destiny. The only way out is through. So the ultimate question is, will you stop fighting the silence? Will you have the courage to let the old self die and allow the life that is actually yours to finally begin? The choice is entirely up to you.